January has kicked off to a pretty impressive start because you've got a lot of action happening in the auto space and a lot of anticipation finally leading to the arrival of certain products. One in particular has been the Nissan Kicks. You see it, of course, here with me, and it's a car that we've been waiting for quite some time now because there's been a lot of talk about it. We've also driven the car already, and now it was all about bringing it to the market and talking about what Nissan's strategy is with the car, and of course, inevitably, the prices. But it's more than that I want to discuss with two gentlemen who are joining me right now to talk about all of this. We've got, well, two people from Nissan here today, so I get lucky. Two for the price of one. It's Peyman Kargar, who represents Nissan at the, let me get this right, Africa, Middle East, India, Senior Vice President for the business. And of course, the man who heads Nissan right here is Thomas Kuehl, no stranger to us. Both of you, thank you. Really appreciate the time, and congratulations firstly on the big launch. I think it's, as I said, one that has been anticipated, and you've certainly delivered, I think, with quite a lot of noise being created today in the right way. So congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Thomas, big day for the company in India on many levels.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Obviously, we also were waiting a long time for this moment, and we put a lot of efforts, and I think it is showing off today that the team from design, R&D, marketing, PR, we did everything. But we are very proud of because we were disruptive for the segment, because we did something completely different. We have still a very aggressive price point, but we made a benchmark in the segment because we have much more standards across the variants, and I think that's something what is really standing out. Secondly, what was really important for us with the Kicks, with our practically team in the R&D, 8,500 engineers, we took the global DNA and even developed it further for India. So bigger, wider, bolder. But one thing what is important, and that is again a benchmark in the segment, is the interior. Not only because of the features, but very much because of the touch and feel, because it's a next level of premiumness in the segment. So I think that's something, and obviously I think we will speak about it, it's the start of the Nissan Intelligent Mobility. And this is, first in class here. And yeah, let's see how it is going. But we are very, very confident, and the response so far is overwhelming. So very, very happy. We have a big smile, and now it's going, and it's already at the dealerships, the first customers are driving away with the new Kicks.
Yeah, you've had the bookings open now for some time. From your perspective, when you look at the arrival of this car, in many ways people are talking about this this sort of huge comeback from Nissan into the space, not just this segment but in the market as a whole. You also mentioned something in your presentation today about how you can't really have a true success in the region unless you're successful in India. Of course, we agree, but from your perspective then, why does this become even more significant?
Yeah, actually because we needed a holistic and comprehensive plan for India. And of course, it's all about several important ingredients. Products is a clear key, of course. Network and the way you deploy, you touch the customers in sales and after sales is absolutely key. But also the people you have. Thomas mentioned design, R&D, manufacturing, marketing. So this is also absolutely key. So we have actually defined for India a holistic plan, gathering all of these important ingredients. This is one. The second point is we have finalized the establishment of the foundations, leveraging actually the investment we made in the country, and we are going to continue to invest in the country, but the first important investment we made in R&D center, in manufacturing base we have in Chennai, but also our team now, because we take the ownership of our business since few years. So all of this is clear, the holistic plan, and Kicks actually is the proof point, the first proof point of this strategy. And as we can see, today it was not only about a product, it was about a solution we are proposing to the customers. And that's why we are really confident with this car in the segment, even if the segment is very competitive, because we are bringing solutions to the customers. We are not only bringing a reliable product, but a comprehensive solution. And again, this is a proof point of all the foundations we are putting in place in India. And all the other models for Nissan and Datsun will follow the same logic in the incoming months.
It's interesting how you very consciously did mention Datsun, and you know the fact that it's going to be almost like a two-pronged attack on the market. I of course understand why that's important, but from the perspective of the consumer as well, bringing fresh products into both the brands, does that become almost like a key strategy for you this year then? Because we haven't had that for some months.
Yeah, for sure, we have been late to bring quickly new models. We cannot deny this one. But again, so that's why in our plan, we are bringing and refreshing our models more and more quickly. And this is clearly there because the customers are requesting for that. Yeah. And so we are matching with this need. But again, we are also deploying the differentiation element of Nissan. For example, we mentioned the Nissan Intelligent Mobility features, and we are also bringing this sort of features and services to the customers, which is again a differentiation element from the competitors. So yes, we will bring more products more quickly, but also the full package around, putting the customer in the center of this topic.
You've also sort of put the cat amongst the pigeons by announcing that 3-year package, and I know you mentioned that it's the first 10,000 customers that get lucky. But the fact that you brought something like this, it's not just about the 3-year warranty, it's also about the 3-year service maintenance. Sort of a game-changing idea. Where do you think that takes you as a brand? Because you know we've all agreed on the fact that yes, you may have been late with certain products, but the consumer still looks towards Nissan. I mean, Japanese brands in general get a lot of attention from the Indian consumer. So something like that, which goes beyond product, Thomas, how crucial is that for you?
Look, I think what we did today is, besides adding the value, what is up to 9% more value to the segment, is that we're going into mobility, cost of ownership. And we see that the mobility services are popping up in India and around the globe. And we know that India is the IT hub of the world. Digitalization happens here for the rest of the world, but it's happening also in India. So everything will speed up. Yeah. And when we looked into our target group, we're calling them the fire starters. We explained that a little bit today. The new generation, bold, they're doing the undone in India, they're driving India to the next level. I mean, they're looking for something else. They know everything. Transparency about automotive. So it's about really the cost of ownership, the cost for the mobility, for the levels, what you are expecting, to spend. Yeah. So it's a choice. So we want to give more choices to our customers, and yes, that's the start. So, and I think it goes further, and comparable this, what we discussed here today, is maybe something what you now see with some smaller companies, .com companies, for giving mobility services. So, and I think here the first OEM is trying to step into something, what is the future of mobility.
Now, I know you promised me more details on the subscription program later.
I will do
so
that.
I'm not going to ask you more about specifically that, but ideas like that, therefore, I mean, now you've done it, of course, your competitors are going to start to scratch their heads and probably do something like that. But you think that's what will possibly drive, at least for your brand or brands, will that drive a lot of the business this year, you think? This kind of innovative, out-of-the-box thinking?
Yeah, I think, I mean, we are just starting a calendar year. We are finishing in this quarter our fiscal year. So obviously that will go very, very fast. And I believe that everybody is not only talking about digitalization, connecting cars. So processes, everything is more seamless. So, and when you see about this, when you have offers who are appealing and very transparent, things are also moving fast. Decision will be, the customer will make faster decision. So, and I think that's we are working on, and with the kick a start. And we are very strong with Datsun in the volume segment. And what we are really looking forward is progressive mobility, because this is now a premium segment in India, practically. So where you have to give much more even to the customers. But we want to do the same thing for the volume segments in the future. So it's a start. As we said, we have a very bullish MTP, and we have a strong team, because it was also mentioned by Peyman today in the presentation, and I think it's very, very important. We are the company, and we're very proud of this, investing the most into Indian talent. We have 8,500 engineers. I mean, and when Peyman said we are working on our life cycle and we want to be faster, obviously we do that with our teams here. Yeah. And all this, like localization, everything starts with the people, with the talents. And one thing is also important, we have the talents here, but we want to use also the talents globally. So that was mentioned today. And I think this is a great advantage for us going forward.
So these ideas therefore apply to Datsun as well. I just want to clarify that, though.
Yes, we will obviously
we'll see a lot of that happening at Datsun.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
Yeah, but the answer to your question is yes, clearly yes. The brand value we want to bring is not only product. So it's all about when the customer looks at Nissan, he has a completely different experience. It's of course on the product, access to mobility, different choices he can have, but also even in the network we are going to deploy the standards of Nissan in sales and after sales to upgrade and for the customers to see that they are in a different environment. So yes, you are right. The brand value is built on this holistic plan again, and not only about product. Product is one of the key points, clearly, but the services around, the offers and the choices we let for the customers, and the environment of network and the quality of the network, same thing.
All right, fair enough. Now, help me understand this part though then, that, you know, I know a lot of this comes from the fact that from your perspective as a business, of course, yes, you yourself admitted there's a lot of catching up to do in the marketplace, but let's also accept the fact that the Indian consumer is extremely demanding. You know, I mean, this is one of the most demanding markets in the world, which I think till you get here, you don't realize that. So a lot of this out-of-the-box thinking, a lot of this flexibility that you're showing, does India become a sort of a test case for some of your other markets?
Yes, even if every market is very different. So, and every customer is valuable, and every customer has his or her own expectation. And they will not buy the car if it doesn't match with them, you know. So, but again, India, I think, it's one of the most competitive markets, certainly, because of several big reasons. And working with our talent here, designing the cars, manufacturing the cars, selling them, and imagining the initiatives as Thomas presented, all of this, of course, yes, this is making us even stronger in other countries. But at the same time, we are bringing also from the global perspective point of view, the best practices or the best solutions we didn't deploy in India. So yes, on both sides, yes, we are learning in India for other countries, and we are bringing to India our best practices we have somewhere else. But again, India will be the major focus for us in Africa, Middle East, India region.
Let me borrow from the theme that you just sort of have alluded to over there about doing a good balance of, you know, bringing the best of Nissan globally and also creating a lot of that within Nissan India for both the brands. You know, one question that always gets asked, and I know in the context of this car also it got asked, how do you balance out, and I'd like both your views on this, how do you balance out global, really well-known headlining car brand names from your portfolio with things that are done specifically for a market which is as important as India, where yes, sometimes you need very specific market only products. I know that there was a decision taken obviously not to do the smaller kicks that the rest of the world gets and we get the bigger one. Decisions like that,
yep.
How do you balance them with also giving us some of the global nameplates?
Yeah, I mean, that's very clear. So when you look at Nissan, today Nissan is organized with 6 strong regions. And this organization has been put in place to be able to listen to the customers and from each region and from each country, because it's completely different. Of course, at global level, we are, and I'm part of the team of executives in a global team to define what is the strategy and what are the products we are bringing. But at the same time, this is defined based on the feedback and understanding we have from the market. So these both sides of the story are very important. And of course, we need to be very agile. We need to be really good in understanding the markets. And if we are, for example, weak in India and not understanding the needs of the customers, we are making mistake, or at least we are making products which are not going to match with India. The example of Kicks is very interesting because Kicks, as you said, the smaller Kicks has been launched in several other countries before. And it's a very successful model. What we did for India, but this is also regional and global decision, we said, okay, but Indian customers are expecting more. This car is excellent, but we need to look at it a little differently. Yeah. And we have decided to invest. We have decided to make this car. And now, launching this car, having a successful history with this one, we will look at this car for some other markets. So you can see that this movement coming in, coming out is completely in our strategy. And we are considering that we can have strong points, but every day we need still to be humble and to listen to the market, to understand and to adjust the way we go forward. So this regional and global organization are matching to be very complementary and to make sure that we don't miss customers' expectation.
Thomas? I mean, look, I'm sure you get a lot of demand, right? Saying, hey, we want this car, we want that car.
Yeah.
Most of it comes from the journalists, but I'm sure there are some customer voices in
all the time, and they want to know it now.
Yeah, also.
And no, but I mean, adding to Peyman, and I mean, he gave the whole picture. It's obviously what we are trying to do, and that's the number one, is taking the global DNA, and especially in the technology. Nissan Intelligent Mobility is so much fitting for the way forward in India. So we're taking this and we're looking at it, and then when this is then put into product, is the product now a complete package or not? Because there is a difference to the customer groups in India compared to global. Because to be very frank, I mean, the Kicks is run by very young people. It will be here too. But the young people who are driving it here has a much higher expectation from a premiumness point of view for differentiating themselves in the society. So this we have to see. And I think, again, there is this big slogan, make in India. I think we do also made it in India and made it for India. So that's very, very, very crucial. And that is the strengths we said that, I said it, the 8,500 engineers is actually for us a trump, because we will be very fast by doing that. By not losing out anything of new technologies, because I strongly believe this is our strength, that we have Nissan Intelligent Mobility with Leaf electrification, world leader, having this practically from a global perspective and the chance to bring that to India. I think that's something what will Nissan, the future of Nissan made brighter in India.
How, I know you're going to tell me it's unfair to ask this question on a day when you're launching this car, but of course I know you are also keeping an eye on the entire market, both of you are, and you can't simply ignore the fact that while the SUVs are driving most of the big growth, there's still a lot of volume coming from some of the other segments. Segments you've been in the past, segments where we're expecting some new products, obviously the more compact segments, whether it's the subcompact SUV that's below 4 meters or whether it's a hatchback, call it entry, call it premium, whichever hatchback. That's a space where we're almost now, we are expecting something to happen from Nissan and Datsun. How quickly do you need to address that? Again, it's a question for
but again, we never said that we will bring only SUV in Nissan. So again, I think you're fully right. There are customers for all the segments, okay, not only SUV. The second point is we are insisting on this SUV heritage because we didn't bring it strongly in India, and this is one of the most important expectations, not the only one, but one of the most important one. In parallel with that,
heritage. Unlike a lot of brands who
absolutely, absolutely,
you actually have it.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So we have this duty to bring this, and at the same time, we have defined a very strong roadmap and product lineup for Datsun. Okay, and we are looking at how we can answer to all the needs of the customers in India with different segments, different expectation with these two brands. So these two brands are going to be more and more complementary in the market, first of all. Secondly, they will use different platforms, okay, because they are targeting the different expectations. And at the same time, we will go for, let's say, standard body types, but we are also thinking about how these body types are going to evolve in the future. So we have some very interesting solutions we cannot disclose today for Datsun and Nissan. So, and you will see that the answer is not only SUV, for example, for Nissan, but again, foundation.
I have one in my head already, but I'm not going to say it either.
The ingredients, of course, as Thomas said, we are bringing the best technology of Nissan, the Nissan Intelligence Mobility, electrification. We are working on e-power technology, which is exclusive, wonderful technology. We are thinking on that also to bring to India. We are just in the final.
You confirmed the Leaf today, so that was great
and
for
Leaf,
us.
yes, absolutely. Yeah. And Leaf again, Leaf is our flagship.
Yeah.
It's one of the most successful car in the world, and we didn't bring it in India, so we have to bring. Yeah. So we are going to play this complementary role between these two brands strongly, and we are looking at how the segments and the body types can evolve in the time, and we are looking at different interesting, innovative solutions.
So I have two immediate questions that come from that. Thomas, I'll ask you the first one. Is that then correct to assume that therefore, since they'll, like Peyman said, they will play complementary roles, the two brands to each other, would you not necessarily have a product in the same segment from both the brands? Or that could happen still?
Look, there's always an overlap in segments, so I would not go so far. It's not like, you know, you're cutting it in the middle somewhere.
Sure.
So let's see. I think
no,
there
the
was a lot of,
different
got a lot
anyway.
of news from
Yeah.
Peyman actually, that we're working on some surprises. Because look, it's all moving fast, and I think we were late, but we learned our lesson. Now we are starting, and we have a comprehensive plan.
Yeah, and we can say that we are not going to deploy 100% segment, 100% completely equivalent.
Yeah.
No, that's clear. Are we going to minimize the coverage of the segment? I'm not saying it's the target to minimize. Again, the target is where we position Nissan, where we position Datsun. What are the competitors? They will be completely different. Okay. Then network strategy. The customers we are targeting are different. So yes, you can have some segments we will answer only with Nissan, some segment we will answer only with Datsun. But we will have also segments we will have both solutions, because in one segment you have completely different types of customers anyway.
Yeah. All right, and the second question, I know I'm running out of time here, but second question that came from that was also, while I appreciate the fact that you're very entrenched into this strategy and the execution of that, when you speak about bringing these products to both these brands and you know, also analyzing where and how to position them, what part or what percentage of that takes into account some of the needs of your alliance partner Renault? Because yes, we know that there's obviously better synergy to play with Renault as well as a part of the mix. It's good for business. So I know it's important. I want to know how important.
Yeah. So the synergy with Renault is not only specific to one country. Okay, so we have defined to deploy strong synergies in platforms, engine and gearboxes, but we will more and more be even different in the offers we will go and we will give to the customers. So you will see, and you start to see it even in India. At the beginning, we used to have several cross-badged cars.
No, of course,
which is
far away from that now.
So we are completely different from that. So we are going to enjoy from several important synergies to reduce the cost, to have reliable components, and then to be faster in terms of refreshing the models. Okay, this is one point. But at the same time, we are going to completely target differently. So, for example, you would have some Datsun cars competing, you are talking about Renault, competing with some Renault cars. And we would have Nissan cars competing with others, even not perhaps with Renault. So this is the area we are going to work. But again, we don't look at specifically in the market at Renault. Renault for us in the market is a competitor. Okay? On some items upstream, we are working in terms of synergy, but in the market, it's a competitor. So, and we are looking at all the competitors and to see how, again, to position these two brands, how we strengthen the ingredients of these two brands, and then I would say the conclusion will be, you know, the segments we will go with both or one of them only.
All right, so last question then for each of you. I will first ask you, Thomas, 2019 then starts off, you've kick-started the year, but does it become or remain a year of product offensive? I know there's going to be an expansion of the network, but is that safe to assume that this is your year of product offensive?
Yes.
Okay, that's a nice simple answer. And from the region's perspective then, how much of the India action has a bearing on what happens with the region, and therefore certain decisions may be getting accelerated for India?
Yeah, the answer, several important actions and decisions, yes. Nissan Intelligent Mobility is one of them, because bringing Nissan Intelligent Mobility, when you are considering several countries, then you do it much quicker and in a different way. So actually we have some common ingredients of strategy for the region, and then of course we have specificities country by country. So India will contribute for sure to the development of the region, not only as Indian market, but we will be exporting vehicle parts and talents from India to the other countries. So India will contribute to the midterm plan of the region. And on the other side, we will bring from other countries solutions we didn't have until now in India. So again, both sides will be the case. But what is sure is India becoming the third biggest market in the world after US and China by 2022. What is sure is it's our most important priority in Africa, Middle East, India region. And that's why we are really looking at the holistic, again, coming back to the comprehensive plan and the foundations there, and to make sure that we understand the market, we are answering to the market, and we develop our two brands in a proper and sustainable way.
And you're part of all that action. So, of course, we wish you the very best with that strategy. A lot of what you have both told me today is the kind of stuff that excites me, certainly excites a lot of people who are going to be watching this. Thank you, and all the very best with that. And yeah, I love the fact that we're going to see lots of product action as well. Thank you both. I really
Thank you very
appreciate
much.
the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.